When it happens in our area, guess who else gets their news from Channel 12? News 12, working for you.
Christmas is a special time for everyone.
This CBS News special report is part of our continuing coverage of the situation in Panama. From CBS News headquarters in New York, here is Dan Rather.
Good day. Signs increase in Panama that fighters loyal to Manuel Noriega are not ready to give up. They attacked a major United States military headquarters, sending U.S. officers ducking under tables and touching off heavy fighting around the U.S. command center. There are reports, though, that the pro-Noriega forces are running low in both numbers of fighters and ammunition. One wants to keep in mind that so far as we know, they have no basic resupply capability. Meanwhile, the hunt goes on for Noriega himself, with his location remaining a mystery. The latest casualty report on the operation is, and these are the official figures, if you will, 21 dead, 210 wounded, and 4 missing. From the Defense Department in Washington, David Martin has the latest. David?
Dan, the Pentagon is now estimating that it's going to take 5 to 10 days to regain control just of Panama City. And they also say that within the next day or so, they are going to begin a sweep west of the city out into the countryside. Now, there are already 24,000 American troops in country Panama, and it now seems almost certain that more troops will have to be sent in.
We are considering other reinforcements as necessary, and I don't want to get into specifically what they are.
This footage was shot by a Defense Department combat camera crew, and it shows how intense some of the early fighting was around Noriega's headquarters. The Pentagon says they underestimated the Panamanian Defense Forces and that some PDF units fought longer, harder, and better than expected. Some of the heaviest fighting occurred at Fort Amador, where soldiers discovered one of Noriega's command posts. What they found inside seemed to confirm all of the allegations made about Noriega.
Apparently he condones or uses the stuff himself, and we've kept more than 50 kilograms of cocaine that's been seized from his headquarters office.
As for Noriega himself, Dan, the U.S. forces believe they've narrowly missed him twice now within the last 48 hours. You even hear stories that soldiers came so close they found smoldering cigarettes and half-filled coffee cups, but I have to tell you those stories have a somewhat apocryphal ring to them. Publicly, U.S. officials continue to insist that getting Noriega is not going to make or break this operation, but privately people will tell you that there's no way the U.S. can start rearming the Panamanian Defense Forces with Noriega still on the loose.
Well, David, without wanting to appear, much less actually be critical, if one has a son or daughter in one of the units in Panama, how could they have underestimated the Noriega forces? This was just indicated, there's no place in the world that the United States Army has had more experience than in Panama.
Well, you can always get an accurate count on the number of PDF forces, where they are, and I think that was accurately estimated. What is hard to estimate, even when you have the kind of connections we have in Panama, is the will of specific units to fight. Are they going to stand and fight, or are they going to turn and run? And I think that is what they underestimated. Some of the PDF units have fought longer and harder than was expected.
And what happened to the idea of overwhelming force, just move in there and really hammer down?
Well, I think, I don't know, 24,000 strikes me as pretty overwhelming. But now that you're into this street-by-street operation, that's very time-consuming and personnel-intensive. I'm not an expert on urban warfare, but every block you take, you then have to set up a new command post and move your troops forward and get ready to take the next block. And the more casualties you take, the more aggressive you're going to get, and the quicker you're going to be on the trigger, the greater the likelihood that you're going to have civilian casualties. This is a very nasty situation. One of the briefers here this afternoon compared it to trying to regain control of Detroit during some of the riots they had there. And that, of course, was much easier because they had a functioning government. There's still no real functioning government in Panama.
David Martin, the Pentagon, thanks. Now, with the disorder in the streets of Panama, we get the latest on that in a phone report this afternoon from CBS News correspondent Juan Vasquez.
I'm in a private home in a neighborhood, in a middle-class neighborhood in Panama City that has been terrorized by thugs and members of the Dignity Battalion, possibly members of the PDF in civilian clothes who have been driving around here, shooting at the residents, possibly with the idea of looting some of these homes. And so the people have taken the law into their own hands. They are armed to the teeth. They have barricaded the streets with their BMWs, with their cars. They've armed with handguns, with M16s, with anything they can get their hands on, with Uzis in some cases, and they're here to protect their homes. I would take issue with saying that things are under control. What we have seen is extensive looting. I've seen looting in this city before, but nothing on the scale of what has taken place in the last 2 days. It is not limited to 1 or 2 or 3 parts of town. There is looting in all parts of town. We have seen very few stores that have not been hit. A lot of stores are still in the process of being looted. Mobs are just going in and taking out anything they want. Mobs armed with knives, with crowbars, with hatchets, hammers, baseball bats, that sort of thing, breaking glass, breaking down doors, anything they can do to get into these stores and take everything that there is to take. And as I said, there is now in the middle-class, upper-class neighborhoods, vigilantes have taken over because they feel that they have to protect themselves. They say that they are happy that the United States has moved in to take out Noriega rather, and take out the PDF, but they are unhappy that there is no law and order of any sort on the streets. And anytime a truck drives by, especially a van, sort of vehicle that the PDF people used to drive, they crouch down and they've taken some shots in various cases.
Well, in Panama, the fighting continues, the chaos continues. There's talk of sending in additional U.S. troops. The indication is that the operation is almost certainly going to take at least another 4 or 5 days, according to David Martin's information from the Pentagon. President Bush, at the last report, intended to go ahead with his vacation plans of leaving on a vacation that would take him to Camp David and then later to a hunting trip and a fishing trip. In our other big story of the day, anti-government protesters in Romania succeeded today in throwing out the longtime hardline communist government Nicolae Ceausescu. But word from Romania this afternoon is that troops loyal to Ceausescu are fighting back hard. Belgrade Yugoslavia television reports hundreds of people killed in the streets of the Romanian capital, Bucharest, and the presidential palace is described as having been on fire. The counterattacks by soldiers loyal to Ceausescu came after big celebrations in the streets of Bucharest with crowds shouting, "Down with Ceausescu." The demonstrators yelled that communism had brought in justice after 24 years of hardline rule, that the change had brought in justice after 24 years of hardline rule. Tonight, Ceausescu's palace is on fire, and there is still uncertainty about his whereabouts, with the Romanian news agency saying that Ceausescu was arrested while trying to escape from the country, but other reports saying that it's not known where he is. It's a confused situation in Romania, also clearly a very dangerous situation, as you have the old-line communist regime trying to fight back. We have a still picture of some of the worst violence that the old Romanian government inflicted on its people. These are still photographs taken in Romania. Now, we have many more of these photographs, which are frankly simply too gruesome for television. But to give an idea of when you have that kind of chaos and near anarchy in a country such as Romania, where they had a hardline oppressive government for so long. Well, that brings you up to date on the two still developing stories, Panama and Romania. When and if developments warrant, we will, of course, be back on the air on this CBS station. We'll have full coverage tonight on the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather, we'll see you again as time goes along.
Special report.
I don't know and I don't care. She's talking. She's halfway there. We now join Guiding Light, already in progress.
Cleaned up.